But those people that are live, well done, you
There we
girls.
go.
Let's like go have another conversation with you.
Amazing. Okay, if you're not muted, can you mute yourself because there's some background things going on? I can hear somebody's television. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. So, girls, when you're time to speak, you just unmute. All right. Okay, everybody can hear me? Yes. Welcome to our Monday night team huddle. My name is Lynne MacDonald, for those of you that do not know me, and I'm a brand leader within Beyond Beauty Club. Now, tonight, I'm really excited about this call because we hear a lot from our brand leaders, don't we? We hear a lot from them regularly, whether it's on these calls on a Monday night or whether it's on the official group. I'm just letting people in as well. Or are you doing it, Rach? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Don't worry.
Thank you, Gorge. So yeah, we hear a lot from the brand leaders, but I think what's really important, if like regularly and now and again, is to hear from the wider community as well. Because sometimes when we hear from some people that are maybe at higher levels, and I know I did it myself when I first joined, you sometimes look at them and think, oh, it's okay for them, or oh, they're really good at that. That's why that's happened to them. But when you start to look at wider people in the community that are building it and that are amazing in different aspects, it does make a lot of us look and think, I could do that too. So tonight we have three incredible women, and I'm going to introduce them all individually, and then they're going to speak. And what's brilliant about these three ladies is they're all very, very different. So they have all very different backgrounds, very different lifestyles, very different circumstances. And also, they all started with Beyond Beauty Club in a very different place. So one of our speakers tonight is Victoria Holcroft, that lots of you will know, who sings really well in Paris, as she's just told you all. And she is one of our main speakers in our Manchester event. And Vic, when she joined us, had already been in the industry and had already had a following built up. And she'll explain a little bit about why she decided to join Beyond Beauty Club. And I love following Vic, actually. I think like there's nobody that's actually more real on their socials of what she is. She just kind of says it like it is. And then we've also got Maria Moorhouse, who is there, as you can see, with her hair slightly to the side, wearing red tonight. So wonderful. And Maria has a very, very full-time job, two kids, as a single mum, and I know a lot of people have said, I don't know how you do it, like juggling absolutely everything all at the same time. She doesn't know how she does it either. And then we've got Jill Middlemas, who is one of our top sellers consistently. And Jill actually started with us not long actually after she had a heart attack, and it totally changed her view and like looking at life. And I know her level of gratitude is like on a different level, but she started building this business while she was building her following. So you can see that each of these ladies came from different places with different situations, circumstances, and are still really going for it and winning. So I think when you have a call like this, it does make you look at the business and think, geez, it's not only if you're good at this or good at that, or you come from here or there or whatever. It basically comes down to anybody can do this, but only if you actually do it, which is what we were saying before we jumped on, weren't we, girls? So each of these beautiful, amazing women are going to answer a few questions each. And I really hope by the end of it, we all, including like me as well, like look at it and think, God, I really need to up my game here because look at what these women are doing when they're juggling all these different things. So I'm going to go to Vic first. So welcome, Victoria Holcroft.
Hello.
Hello. Isn't she beautiful in her there was a
Sunshine.
doing your sunshine what?
I'm a ray of sunshine.
She's a ray of sunshine tonight. And your first question is, what made you join Beyond Beauty Club?
Okay, so I was already in the industry, and I had basically, when I came into network marketing, I fell into it, right? I didn't consciously go, I'm going to be a network marketer. I just was a customer that loved a product. And when I saw, so Amber came to the business before me, and we were like sidelines in our last business. We were like really close, but we were completely separate to each other. And when I saw what she was doing, I was like, do you know what? That looks very interesting to me. Like it would have to take a lot for me to have walked away from what I was doing, because I was successful in what I was doing. I was making money. I was like happy really with what I was doing, but there was something about it and her enthusiasm for it. And when I tried the products, I loved the products. And then I was like, I can't unsee it now. And then I looked at the comp plan. And then I started following you guys, and like you were all people that I'd never sort of known in the industry. And I was like, do you know what? I think this looks like an absolutely incredible opportunity for me. And it's the first time I've joined a business with intention, because every other time it was just like, it just happened to me, you know, I just fell into it and it just worked. But this time I came to it with intention, because I love the fact that, one, it was a newish business. Two, we had the ability to build and like shape the business, get involved in the decisions. I love the products. I love the ethos behind it. The community aspect was like completely different to everything else I've been used to. And so that's why I joined. It was, you know, it was a lot of going backwards and forwards for 6 months. I would say 6 months of conversations, like very like heavy conversations. But in the end, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. And I just joined, and I've never looked back. Love it.
Love it. We love having you.
Thank you.
In your sunshine colours. Maria Moorhouse, why did you join Beyond Beauty Club, my love?
I'm unmuted. Hello, good evening. Why did I join Beyond Beauty Club? That is the £1,000,000 question. I joined actually through a lovely lady that we both joined through, which is the beautiful Rachel. Now, I used to use Juice Plus after having Violet, who's now 13, to lose weight. Loved the products, I wouldn't even say I was an affiliate. I just tried to sign up with my own network marketing. Didn't do a good job at all, but somehow stayed connected to Rachel, although I didn't know her at the time. And I then followed her on Facebook, unknown to me that we were still connected. And I saw that she was in Beverly Hills. And I'm like, oh my God, this looks so glam. This looks amazing. And I kept peeking and like, basically spying on her or stalking her. And then she kept saying, oh, she tries to speak to me about the business, but at the time I was just not in the right headspace, but I just couldn't shift it. And then eventually I asked about it. And then what does one do? I then researched who Dan Holzman is, got in touch with Dan Holzman, and I asked him, and he was like, come on this call with Simon Orion. Went on the call and I was hooked. So I didn't even try the products. I wasn't, I'm not into affiliate marketing or network marketing or anything. But when I went on that call, I just knew it was the right thing. And I absolutely, like Vic said, the same. It's the ethos, the vision, the community, the products. I mean, I used to use so many different skincare and my skin never looked good, never felt good. The first time I used our products, I was obsessed. I wouldn't stop watching, like touching my face. So instantly I fell in love with it. And since then, I've never looked back. And it was the prayers answered, everything that I ever hoped and wanted and more. So yeah, and obviously now it's just got even better and bigger, and the opportunity is amazing.
I love it. The first exposure that I had to Beyond Beauty Club was seeing Rachel in Beverly Hills as well.
Yeah.
So that's the moral of the story, get to Beverly Hills, right?
Indeed.
Jill Middlemas, tell us, why did you join Beyond Beauty Club? Tell us.
Well, I had followed you online for about 10 years, I think, by that point, and had never been involved in any of the things that you had been involved in, but I loved following you, like watching all the different things you were up to. And also I'd had a look at other network marketing businesses in the past, and they just didn't do it for me. I'd tried the products and I either didn't like the products or I didn't like their vibe, their ethos. Nothing clicked for me at all. But I could see the benefit and the opportunities that were available in that kind of business. I just hadn't found the right one. And then you approached me, I tried the products, got an absolutely incredible result with my skin, and thought this could be something for me. At the time, had a domestic and commercial cleaning business, which was thriving, and didn't have a lot of time to work the business as well as I wanted to, but it was still always there. And then a few months after I joined, as you said, I had a very unexpected heart attack at age 45. And 2 days after it, made a plan in the hospital, still in bed in hospital. I just thought, this is it. I'm going to turn this around. I messaged Lynne and said, I know I've been a little quiet, something's happened, nothing major, but I'm in. I'm absolutely all in. And then it was a good probably 4 or 6 weeks later, I told her what had actually gone down. And I just went for it, put my head down and decided this is what I wanted. Life was totally different for me back then to what it is now. It was 100% an intentional choice. And I made the decision, this is, your life's going to go one way or the other. And I picked this way and I've never looked back now.
What a pivotal moment, right? I remember you messaging me from the hospital and I was like, what?
I've just had a wee heart attack. This was like after I'd had the surgery a month later, and she was like, what the fuck?
But you know what's really, like, when something big does happen, and it might be something health-wise, or it could just be something else circumstantially, it can make you look at things very differently.
Totally.
And it can really show you what you're really truly capable of. Like, I think if most of us women made the decision and said to ourselves, right, show me what you're capable of. Like, if we all woke up tomorrow morning and said, show me what you're capable of, look in the mirror and ask yourself that question, we'd go out that week and achieve very, very different things.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Thank you for sharing. And yeah, you definitely, like, I know you were doing it a little bit before that happened, but then afterwards there was a significant difference. And I think a lot of that, you weren't like, it wasn't like something, it wasn't like people were coming out the woodwork and contacting you. It was you that made the decision to be different and do it differently and just to go at it, didn't you? That's like one of the
actually do it.
Yeah.
Instead of playing a little bit, actually be intentional and do it. And that made all the difference.
Yeah, and I always say, I think we have 2 start dates. We have the day that we join.
That's exactly what we said.
We have the day that we join and then the day that we really decide to build the business. Because sometimes we can say, oh, it took me 2 years to get to brand champion, or it took me like, I don't know, 3 years to get to brand leader. It didn't. It took you the moment that you decided to get to the level that you truly wanted to get to. So, and that's anybody can just decide that tonight. And everybody can just decide, like, right, tomorrow morning when I wake up, this is my second date. Like, this is it. I've had my first start date and now I'm having my next start date. And also we can have multiple start dates at different points because as we build this business, we become different people, don't we? Like, we become really different people. If I look at your before and now, Jill, your before and now isn't just your skin transformation. When you posted your before and now just maybe a few weeks ago, you actually look like a different person. You look lighter. You look like there's a weight off your shoulders. You look
100%.
happier. And I think when you do join something for the products and love them and then grow as a person, you cannot help but notice that. And sometimes we don't notice it in ourselves as much than when you compare a side-by-side view.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, back to Maria then. We'll go back the way. We'll just keep you on your toes, right? Instead of like you thinking, oh, am I next? Okay, Maria, how do you do this business day to day? So obviously you've got a full-time job, you've got your kids, you live with your kids on your own. How do you actually do this business day to day? We talk about DMO a lot. We talk about like the key things that build our business, whether it's social media, reaching out to people, following up, all the things we know what to do. But like on a standard day, how do you, being so busy, actually build your business?
I think the main thing is like the beauty of this business is you genuinely can do it anywhere, anytime. Like there's no set rules, and that's why it works for me, and that's why it could work for anybody. So as you know, so I'm like, I work full time. I've got 2 kids and a dog now, and everything else to go with it. So I tend to work in little bits. So during the day, I might send a few messages, or if Violet's having a PT session, I'm in the car, I might send some messages, or I'm on a dog walk or whatnot. But I'll also spend some time on a night. That tends to be when I have I will sit down and I'll work. That's my quiet time. I'll have my radiance, I'll put my candle on, I'll sit here and I work. But I think what works for me, and I know some people do really well online, I tend to do better face to face. So my current customers, the majority of them are the ones that I've met face to face. However, it's helped that I constantly show up on my business. I am consistent. And what's great is anyone that knows me in person will say to me, Maria, you are who you are. The way you show up on your socials is actually who you are. And that is brilliant. And I think the main thing is like I've got a good customer base and they're loyal. And I'm really like customers for me are everything. And I think this is something we all need to remember, guys, because they are our business. So I make sure that I follow up with them. I make sure that I, if I do, for me, networking or doing events in-house or face-to-face tends to work better for me. So I'll try to do that more often. I used to do a lot more events last year, but I've not been able to do as much. Other things that I'll do is when I build rapport. So recently I've joined like paddle or I've tried to do other activities just to diversify my skills. It's allowed me to build my network, and I've got a few customers through that. But I wasn't just like, hi, I'm Maria, I want to play paddle, buy my collagen. I gradually built that rapport, and I think don't discount that. We are mums. Some of us are mums, some of us are not. But do not take for granted the people that we speak to every day. And it doesn't mean that you've got to say hi and force them into buying. But make a note of it, build that rapport, and then gradually build it in. But the biggest thing I'll tell you is samples, genuinely samples. Like when I went to paddle a few weeks ago, it took me a while to talk to him about what I do. And then I brought in some samples and I had a few sales from that. And some haven't bought yet, but doesn't mean that they won't buy. And that goes with anything. So think about mums at the gate. It's cricket season, it's football season, whatever, baby groups, mum groups, whatever, gym buddies, anything, just anyone that you see, think of them as a prospect. Doesn't mean you have to go straight to them right away, but put them on a list or clock them and just nurture that. And yeah, but that's how I do it. If mine's all face to face as opposed to online, but online is what allows me and verifies what I do face to face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you've said there is something that I do all the time is like add people to the list constantly. So I've got a written list and I've got a list on my phone, because if I think of somebody when I'm out and about or I meet somebody or something happens, I'll just quickly go into my note on my phone that says add to list. And we've got an active list. It doesn't mean to say I'm going to like contact them right there and then, but the next day when I'm going through the list, I still might not contact them the next day because they might be further down the list. But when we've got an active list that our brain is constantly thinking like, oh, I want to like build more rapport with her, or I want to chat to her, or I'm going to actually follow her socials next week and then reach out to her. Like it keeps you in the, like I hear so many people saying, who am I going to talk to now? And like, oh, I'm running out of people. We can never run out of people. There's 8 billion people in the world. And so many women want more income, and so many women are already buying collagen and all the things that we're selling anyway. Like an active, ongoing, alive list that we all have is like an absolute number one, I would say. And quick question, Maria, you don't have a background in, you're not like a beauty specialist or anything like that. Your job is completely different, right? It's not like you're coming at this with tons of knowledge and experience in the beauty world or anything.
Not at all. Honestly, I do marketing for a software company for home care providers, and I want to literally poke pins in my eyes. I hate it, which is why I'm so determined to do this. But I will tell you this, guys, like I feel very grateful. I've done loads of events. I was invited to do an event with brides a few weeks ago, and I'm really confident in our product. And I'll tell you what, the training that we get is incredible. And when we had the old app, I absolutely studied it. And I think a lot of it is back. Do not take for granted the knowledge bank, because I will never say I'm a skin specialist. I've never ever said anything, but I am confident enough and I have enough knowledge from the calls that we have and the resources that we have. We are very, very lucky, very lucky.
And also, you like a lot of what you do is because you're hungry for it and you want it and you just go out there and make it happen and get it done. So even if people ask like questions that you don't know the answer to, we can always just say, I don't know, that's a really good question. So we don't need to be like super knowledgeable. But the reason I asked you that is because you do a lot of events. I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, but I just don't have the knowledge to do that. And I don't have the background of a beauty specialist or a skin specialist, which is why I asked you, like, you don't have that background, but yet you still do all of that. Thank you, love. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Oh, I've seen some comments. Thank you.
Well, they're loving you. They're loving you. Vic, how do you do how do you build your Beyond Beauty Club business every single day?
See, I'm completely different. I am literally 100% social media. So what a lot of you don't know about me is I actually moved here 16 years ago from the East Midlands to County Durham to be with my husband. And so I don't have like that close network of friends. I mean, I have friends, but I am actually quite antisocial, I might add. But I built my social media just literally from being a mum at home with a baby, very isolated, built a social media around like home content, being a mum, that kind of stuff. Built like, I would say my following are very they trust me because I'm always giving very honest reviews. Like if something is good, it's good. I'm not gonna like promote rubbish. And over the years, that stood me in such amazing good stead because I've built this like really, really strong community of people. And I would say in the last, since I turned 40, so I'm 46, I've been documenting like perimenopause, the changes in my body, like how my hair's going down, what my skin's doing, what my hormones are doing, how I'm a little bit crazy sometimes, right? And I'm just sharing things with people and being relatable. And what I'm trying to do, and this is really working for me, is being like quite specific with my message. So I'm talking to people just like me. I'm not trying to attract 20-year-olds. I'm not trying to attract, like the outfit girls on Instagram. I am literally speaking to other mums in a situation like me and trying to like give them the relatable stuff, like how your hair does start falling out or your skin, you do start getting a bit blooming tired. And I'm not just ramming Simon Orion down everyone's throat, because when you become like a business machine, people switch off. They just like, oh, she's just trying to flog me something. I watch so many people on Instagram and I'm like, every day they're flogging another product, another product, another product. I'm just very consistent. I slip it into my routine. Every now and then I'll go on a harder sell than a show and tell. But I'm literally telling people like how this has impacted. You can see from my journey in the last I think I'm coming up for 2 years in September. I have completely changed as a person. I look completely different. I'm more confident. I'm showing up more. I literally was a shadow of myself before. And I'm showing people like these products are really actually helping me. And I'm not talking about everything. I'm not going, oh my God, Simon Orion products, they're all amazing. I'm talking about radiance. I'm talking about essentials. And occasionally talking about retinoids. That's it. That's what I talk about. And what I find is people like buy into your routine. They see what you're doing. They're seeing that glow up. They're seeing that consistency. They want a bit of what you're having. Like, I'm not being funny. I am like 3.5 stone different. My skin's better by a mile. My hair is growing back. Like all the things that were really problematic to me. And so I would say I'm like 95% online. I have like a 5% buffer of people locally that buy things for me, friends, family, stuff like that. But it's 90% strangers. And it's really interesting to me that works for me, because I'm having a turnover of people all the time, like following me, unfollowing me, following me, unfollowing me. The majority of people that are following me are people in my niche. When I look at my stats on Instagram, I'm like 90% UK following and it's 90% 40 plus. So I am like targeting a niche of people, and I don't mean targeting in like a vulturous way. I mean just like I'm trying to like connect with my people. You can't connect with everybody. It's very important that you find the right people for you, because the right people for you are the people that will then support you. They will buy from you. They will learn to trust from you. And actually I share things from Simon Orion skincare through to the vacuum cleaner that I'm using, down to what I'm doing in the garden, down to the fact that my husband's shouting and ranting and raving on the CCTV camera. Like, I'm sharing like all this stuff about my life. And I'm not saying that you need to overshare, but if they get to know your personality, that's what builds authenticity and trust. Because there's so many people out there right now who and I was talking to somebody about this earlier actually. I was saying I have a lot of influencer friends. One week they're talking about Upoda. Next week they're talking about Skin and Me. Now they're talking about Elevate Collagen. Now they're talking about Ancient and Brave Collagen. And it's causing that disruption in the influencer industry, whereas they actually just really want, not even people with big followings. I appreciate I do have a big following, but when I started, I had 300 followers. And at 5,000 followers, I was making an annual salary through my social media. So it's not necessarily about followers. It's about attracting the right people, giving the right message, being authentic, being truthful, and being trustworthy. I mean, the amount of, I was saying this today, Elevate Collagen's been in contact, all the collagen companies have been in contact with me saying, we'll pay you X amount of money to talk about our product. And I'm never going to do that in a million years because I value my audience too much. Like, it's not about, for me, yes, it's about getting paid, but it's about getting paid and feeling good and knowing that I'm recommending from my heart, like what I actually like, because I feel like if I like it, Lynne's going to like it, Catherine's going to like it, Jill's going to like it, and feeling like good about myself, do you know? So yes, I'm 90, I would say I'm 90, I'd say I'm probably 95% online, which is very different to everybody else. But I don't have a local network, and I certainly don't have an industry network. Like, I'm just a housewife from County Durham. Like, what do I know about anything? So it just shows like everybody has a different opportunity. It's just how you utilize it.
You know what I can see that you've absolutely nailed, Vic, is deciding exactly who your target market is and only talking to her. And I think so many of us, and I've done it myself in the past, we sometimes do a post and then we think, oh, such and such won't like that, or oh, I better tweak that. And we're kind of like posting for a lot of people on our socials that we know is there, but are actually not even our target market. But if you think about it, what I did a year or so ago was like, I thought, do you know what, Lynne? If your ideal person is X, Y, and Z person, every time you go on the socials, just talk to her. Say the words you would say when you were talking to her. Share it in a way, like, don't even like try and make it all professional in the way you're doing it. Like, say it, like, do the post, do the story in a way as if like you're just talking to your best friend. Because I remember listening to a training ages ago and it said, if you don't talk to your ideal person, they won't hear you. If you're trying to talk to everybody, the ideal person that's there for you will just scroll past, because when you're just throwing a whole load of stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks and flighting from like one product to the next to here to there, and then one day you're feeling dead excited so you're speaking in a different way, and then the next day you're like, oh god, I better tone that down because my great auntie doodah down the road won't like that when she... We're just kind of, our socials become a bit muddy. And I definitely can see that you've absolutely nailed it. It feels like when you're on your talking stories, you are talking to your friend on FaceTime. And it feels like when you're doing any post, you're talking to that exact... I am the woman you are talking to. Like, you are talking to me because I am like of a similar age to you. And some of the things that you do and say is like what I think or what I'm going through. So you've absolutely nailed it. And some people's socials can be a bit here, there, and everywhere. And sometimes that happens when we've just not nailed who is it that we're speaking to. And I think sometimes we think we need to speak to everybody in case we miss some people. But you'll miss more by not like being very specific in who it is that you want to talk to. So what I did to train myself was every single time I went on the socials from last year, I would put the name of the person that was my made up person. So like, I made up this person that looks a certain way, acts a certain way, is a certain age, lives a certain place, like wants this, is ambitious as that. And I used to put her, like if I went on my stories or I went wherever, I used to put a little post-it note with her name on my light so that I was talking to her, to retrain myself to...
I love that.
That's a good idea.
Like,
that's such a good idea.
So when I'm talking on, now I do it just naturally. Now I'll go on my talking stories and post, and I just know she's in my head and I just talk to her. So sometimes I'll do a post and like start it in the middle of a conversation. So I'll say, okay, because if I was messaging my friend or like on FaceTime or audioing somebody, I wouldn't feel the need to reintroduce myself. I would just be like, okay, so listen, do you remember I was saying such and such? Well, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of had to retrain myself. And that was after being in the industry for several years. So it's not we all nail it quickly. Sometimes we remember, then don't remember, then remember, then don't remember. But thinking of tonight, who is your person? Do you have a name for her? If you could just make up this ideal person, what's her name? What does she look like? Where does she live? What kind of stuff is she into? When you're talking to her, can you like just be totally yourself? How would you speak to her? What would you say to her on FaceTime? That's how we do our social media. And you've nailed that, Vic.
Thank you.
Big time. All right, back to Jill Middlemas. How do you do your business? Tell us.
So I'm a bit of both, but when I started out, I had never even done a video on Facebook or social media or anything. And the week after I got out of hospital, I thought, if I don't do it today, I'm never going to do it. So I just did a video. And I always laugh about this and look back. I hadn't even brushed my hair. I looked like I'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. I hadn't even finished doing my skincare. And I thought, I'm just going to do it. And I got on and I was rambling and it was pretty bad, but got it done and got such a big response from it immediately that it did give me confidence to kind of keep doing it. But I think for me, I mainly build my business through consistency and definitely connection. I like to speak to people and I like to build a relationship and I like to do it like that. I don't get, out of all the people that have been customers or are customers of mine, very few of them are like a quick situation. It has been something that's been cultivated by conversation and building up, like Vic was saying, trust and getting to know them and them getting to know me. And I try and do a lot of that face to face because I am undoubtedly, that's my niche. Face to face is better. I want people to see how excited I am about these products. I want them to be able to feel that energy and know that what I'm saying is true and obviously see the benefits of using them. But I think it's a situation where you can get customers like that, but you do have to be present on social media, like Maria was saying. So that has been slightly harder for me because I didn't, as you say, have a following. But I got reached out to a number of times over the last few months from people saying things like, you know, I maybe haven't bought any of your products or whatever, but I'm watching and I'm seeing your journey and just to, you know, say, keep going and well done. And that's happened to me a number of times. So it's always to know that there are people watching. Keep an eye on your socials and just keep a list, as Lynne says, of those people, because you may, you know, at a different point go back to them. But with that said, I have had a couple of complete strangers on social media buy from me as well, because I've got right into their DM straight away and said, oh my God, I love your content. I love your energy. The stuff you put out on social media is exactly the kind of stuff I want to see. We've got into a conversation. We've been talking about skincare and then they've bought from me. So I suppose it works differently for everybody. But in order to build the business, you have to be consistent. That is absolutely one thing I've learned the hard way in the beginning. If you don't keep going and doing the little things that you do every day to build your business, you'd get no compound effect whatsoever. And those days that you take off, you're right back to square one and it's harder to get started. So I would say for me, learning to keep going and even just doing the DMO every single day. And if I saw somebody out, chatting to them. But if people say things like, I found it quite hard in the beginning, people saying, oh my God, your hair looks amazing or your skin looks lovely. I'd be like, oh, you know, and then you just think, no, get it out there. You're not selling to them. You're just telling them what you're using. And that is it at the end of the day. We're just telling them about the products we're using and the ones that we love and why we love them. But that's for me how I build.
I love it. And do you know what you remember? I said this to you a while back, Jill, because you're so consistent, like you are so consistent. And also you, like when you said about you don't always worry about being perfect, I honestly believe that people feel your heart and your intention behind things. They don't remember. Yeah. Like if you sit with somebody or you listen to a live or a talking story, you don't come off and recite every single word that person just said.
No.
But you definitely remember how they made you feel. and
Yeah.
how they felt. Like, you feel a person's heart and their intention behind things. And when
For
you
sure.
talk about consistency, you remind me of that bit in I said this to you a few weeks back.
Mhm.
If anybody's watched the Secret, the film, and you know the bit where the guy's talking about consistency and where the grass is growing, and it's cut, you're doing the thing, you're doing the thing, you're doing the thing, and the grass is starting to grow underneath the surface, but people stop just before, so it like comes back down, and then they do the thing and do the thing and do the thing again, and it starts to come up through the soil. But then they think, oh, nobody contacted me today, I did 3 posts and nobody contacted me, or I reached out to like 2 people and nobody wanted to join my business, and then it just goes nope. And you are just consistent and consistent and consistent, even when it looks like it's not working, even when someone didn't reach out, even when you didn't feel like it, even when you're not motivated.
Oh,
Because
100%.
there's this like myth that every single person that ever got to like brand leader or brand legend has been motivated, like bouncing off the walls every single day since.
No,
like,
because
they
we're
joined
human.
the business.
We
It's
have
not
good
real.
days and bad days, but if you stick to the basics of getting like your DMO done, for example, you don't. There are days I get up, and I mean, I am obviously full of gratitude for everything that's happened. I wake up every day and choose to be happy, choose to see the best in the day. But there are days where the universe absolutely tries to take that away. You know, your kid won't do what they're told, something breaks in the house, or something else happens, and you get thrown curveball after curveball, but you just have to keep going. And if you have a good set of habits in place for your business, as in everything in your life, and you just stack little bits on top of each other and keep doing them and keep going, even when you have a terrible day and things don't go your way, you've already got the basics there and you've done enough. I think that's the key thing. And I definitely don't show up perfect 9 times out of 10, but I show up every day and I work my business, because the alternative doesn't even bear thinking about. Who wants to go back to square one of everything?
You always show up with heart, and like, it's not about being perfect, it's about just showing up and being the real you. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
we've ran over, but one quick thing from each of you, please, just before we wrap it all up. What would you say if somebody was joining the business right now, or they were just kind of getting back in the game, they're already in it, but they're like, right, that's it. My second day one is tomorrow morning. What one thing, just like in less than a minute, would you say, I just want to tell you this then, if your second day one is like tonight, tomorrow morning, what's the one thing that you would say to that person, Vic?
Just stop waiting to feel ready. Just
Or
get
Jill?
it done.
Just what, sorry, Jill?
Stop waiting to feel ready. Just go. Just start. That would be
Do it
mine.
anyway. I love it. Vic?
Like, literally don't try and be perfect. So when I had my home account, it was all about perfection. It was all about it being beautiful and curated, and it was unrealistic, right? Actually, since I've started being myself and sharing like all the stuff that I go through, like all the ups and downs, I actually am a lot more engaged with my audience, because you're finding those people that are right for you. They don't want perfect, they just want to hear what you're doing. So I would say showing up, being consistent, and if consistent looks like 3 times a week, do 3 times a week. Don't say you're going to do 7 when you're not, because you're setting yourself up for failure. I was talking to someone in my team the other day and saying, if it's 3, it's 3. If it's 2, it's 2. Don't say you're going to do 7 when you're not going to do it. So just being consistent, setting yourself a little bit of a goal, showing up on the times that you say you're going to show up, and giving value when you are showing up.
I love it, Vic. Thank you so much. And Maria, last over to you.
Sorry, I was muted because Violet. My biggest advice is believe in you. Genuinely, just believe in you. Never stop loving the products or anything, but believe in you and dig deep. That's it. 'Cause sometimes, you know, we might have doubt, we might not think we can do it. Just dig deep, believe in you, be consistent is absolutely 100% number one too, and just be genuine. That's it. Genuine, be consistent, believe in you, and dig deep and never give up.
I think the biggest thing that I've taken from this, thank you so much, Maria. I think the biggest thing I've taken from this is when you're totally yourself, which each of you are, you can't help but find your people. So when we are just all of who we are, we find the right people for us, because if we show up on the socials as a different person, we end up attracting people who are different. And then imagine hanging about with people at like events and like brand trips that you can't even stand, and you don't even want to be with them. So we want to be totally like who we are and show up totally as us, which I think you three girls absolutely nail. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. And if those of you that came on the call could drop a message either on the official Facebook post underneath the post that I did earlier, or on the community chat, just thanking these ladies and sharing some of your top tips that you got out of this, because it's a big, huge deal getting on these calls and like having the courage to come on and speak and share and just be yourself. It's a huge deal. And thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate it. And let's all go smash the week. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, ladies.